All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And in this lesson, I'll be going into, the topic of UFOs and angels. And I don't want to make this too long. Really, what sparked this lesson was this article that I came across from RT. It says aliens are real, by Obama, right? And I have a video I like to play on this. Before we get further into the lesson, I'll play this video and then I'll get some precepts. So let me go ahead and play this.
Aliens are real. That's according to Barack Obama. But the former US president shot down conspiracy theories. They're being kept at a top secret US military base in a wide-ranging interview.
It's a question that has never been answered, but the world has always wondered, do extraterrestrials exist? Area 51, a top-secret military base in the Nevada desert, has been at the center of conspiracy theories for decades. And now a former US president shares his truth.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Later clarifying his comment on social media. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the chances we've been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. From aliens to Bad Bunny, Barack Obama gave his thoughts on a lot of things in an interview spanning almost an hour, which also addressed a racist video recently shared on Donald Trump's Truth Social.
All right, that was pretty much the point on that, right? So you have the former president, Barack Obama, talking about UFOs. Talking about aliens, right? Now, the aliens that they always point or push out there, is how they look like. They always, have them green people or what they call the grays, right? With big head and big eyes, right? Small face, right? But that all came from this guy right here, Aleister Crowley, right? And he communicated while doing some rituals and being on some heavy drugs. This man was able to communicate with some demon called Lamb, right? And this is what he drew. This is how he depicted what he saw, right? So this is where they got that imagery of the alien, with the big head, the black big eyes and small faces. They all got it from this, right? It's a demon, right? Now you do have angels on the left hand side. You have angels on the right hand side, right? And we can get that. That's in Job, the first chapter. Let me get that real quick. Job 1 and verse 6, it says, Now there was a day when the sons of God, right, which are the angels on the right hand side, came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. You see? And it says, verse 7, And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. Now, notice that they reported unto the Lord, right, unto the Most High Yahweh. You see? So that shows you that everything is in order. The left-hand side angels and the right-hand side angels, they're all in order under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Right? They take charge from the Most High Yahweh. Right? There was no battle up in the heavens and Satan was cast down, down on earth. Right? No. No, that those are all myths. Those are all fables, right? The scriptures call them cunningly devised fables. That's all they are, right? Because when you read this, it shows you how Satan is obedient unto the Lord. And as a matter of fact, let me skip down. Right here, I'll start at verse 10. It says, Hast thou not made a hedge about him? They're talking about Job, right? It says, and about his house and about all that he hath on every side. Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath, Salakia, it says, Behold, all that he hath is in my power, or is in thy power, Salakia. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So he took order from the Lord, right? The Most High said, you know what? You have power to do whatever you want to his possessions, to his family, right? Everything he owns. Just don't hurt him. And what did he do? That's exactly what he carried out the order to the T, right? But the point being is that everything is in order with the Lord. You see? So when this man, Aleister Crowley, he communicated with this demon, he was ultimately communicating with the left-hand side, right? Got counsel messages from this demon, right? But again, just going back to the point that this is the where they get that alien image from, right? Now you do have, like I said, angels on the right hand side, and let me get this. This is in was it Ezekiel, the first chapter. It describes how they look. Let me see. Ezekiel 1, and I'll start at 4. It says, And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding in itself, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the soles of their feet were like the sole of a calf's foot, right? Just going into how their feet, they pretty much wore, I forgot the name of those types of socks, but pretty much where the toe splits off from the rest of the toes, so it looked like a cloven foot, right? Like a calf's foot. But it says, and they sparkle like the color of burnished brass, right? Just showing how they had melanated skin. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides. And they had 4, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they had 4. They 4 had the face of a man, and the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 had the face of an eagle. Right now, these is going into symbolic representations. I believe lion means courage. Man means I can't remember exactly. It could be integrity. Ox, means strength and fate, and the eagle goes into speed or swift. Being swift, swiftness, you know what I mean? But verse 11, it says, Thus were the faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies. Right? So this is going into the description of them, right? Now, ever since, I believe it was, since that whole report coming out of the UAPs and UFOs, There's been a lot of disclosure on this topic, and we've been hearing a lot of sea theories as far as the government orchestrating some type of event, false flag, as to make it seem as if aliens are coming down and invading, Martians from Mars coming down and fighting against the military. Who knows? Like I said, more information is coming out. Obama coming out saying that aliens exist. Because like I said, you have the angels on the left hand side, you have the angels on the right hand side. So those are real beings. Those are real creatures, right? Spiritual beings. You see, and they're all around us. They're always watching. The spiritual demon Satan is trying to tempt us. Different demons trying to sway us from the right path. And then you have angels, always watching and protecting over the elect, right? So these forces are always around. They're constantly active, right? And like I said, they're all under the control of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Now, we can get I believe it's Isaiah 45. Let me see. Right here. Isaiah 45 and verse 7, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh, do all these things. You see, so the Most High, he's in charge of both these forces. The Salakia, goddamn loud ass motorcycle out there. But anyway, the Most High is in charge of both these forces. The good and the bad, right? They do the bidding of the Lord. So let me read this again. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You see? So these Christians talking about God is all good and all love. The Most High is in charge of both good and bad, light and dark, right? So that just goes to show that you Christians don't know shit. Y'all don't understand the Bible. Y'all don't even read the Bible, half of y'all, or most of y'all, I should say. Right? But anyway, let me go back. Because this is going to go into, Ezekiel 1 is going to go into the chariots as well. But it says, Ezekiel 1 and verse 12, it says, and they went every one straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creature, their appearance was as the burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, right? So they were glowing, right? Because these are beings of pure energy, right? It says, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creature ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning, just going into how fast they move. You always see images of these chariots and how fast they've been moving. They zip so fast to where they try to slow it down frame by frame, and you'll only get like 1 or 2 frames. Right? But it says, and it's all blurry. It's always super blurry. That shows you how fast they move. But verse 15, it says, now as I beheld the living creature, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, when with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Right, so it's going into the chariot, right? The wheel within the wheel. But verse 17, it says, when they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. Right, so these are the eyes of the Lord, right? These chariots, and we can get that in 2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9. It says, for the eyes of the Lord Yahweh run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. That's talking about the chariots, right? They run to and fro. They're always around watching, right? You can call them, the surveillance of the Lord, right? But it says, herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. So let me see. Let me go back actually and continue reading this. Ezekiel 1, 19, it says, and when the living creature went, or when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creature were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. So the chariots, they're also like some type of spiritual thing. I don't even know how to even describe it, because they move at, the pretty much the chariot and the angels, they're connected somehow, right? To where wherever the angels go, the chariots go with them, right? Almost like some autopilot type of thing, like Tesla, Esau with his Tesla cars, and you can, I forgot what car it was, but they were talking about how you can go on an app and push a button, and I don't know, something in the app where you can make the car come to you, right? It'd be parking in the parking lot, and you can make it come to you if you're coming out of your hotel or whatever, right? Coming out of out of a restaurant, coming out of a store, right? The car will self-drive itself to you, But we know Esau's technology, that shit don't even work right. But with this technology that the Most High has, this is the supreme technology. So whatever that chariot has, some autopilot thing, is able to actually follow these angels whithersoever they go, right? So it says, verse 20, whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Excuse me. It says, when those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood, and when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Let me see. I'm just wondering if I should read more. That was pretty much the point on this, right? That was pretty much the point on this chapter. Let me actually go to Zechariah 5. So we're just making the point how these so-called aliens, they're actually real, and they're not like I said, no beings from a different planet or from Mars or whatever, or living in the dark side of the moon. You know what I'm saying? These are angels, right? Whether left hand or right hand, the point being is that they serve the Lord, right? Now, let me see, Zechariah 5:1, it says, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Right, so this flying roll, again, is a chariot. When you look at a roll of bread or whatever, that's comparable to a chariot, right? People that have witnessed chariots, they'll describe them as discs, as a cigar shaped, right? So people, even from back then, they will always compare what they saw to something that they know, to give you a image in your mind, right? But let me continue on. It says, verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on that side according to, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Right, so this is a curse, man. And this is a curse unto Esau and his kingdom, his hegemony, right? Because Esau, here it is, he's trying to attain a godlike power, but these angels constantly keep coming up. These chariots keep on appearing to show to him that he's just a mere mortal, right? His technology cannot compete with the technology from on high. You see? Which is why when we read in Revelations, whenever, or Revelation, Salakia, but when you're reading the book of Revelation, it speaks on, how Michael and his angels, and also the devil and his angels are going to fight in the heavens, but they're not gonna prevail, You know, it's gonna be a swift annihilation, right? Because the type of technology, and really these chariots and the angels, they're spiritual beings. So there's nothing that you can do physically to them, which is why it's gonna be, it's gonna be a straight slaughter whenever our Lord Yahushua returns, right? These Esau, and these nations, they're gonna stand no chance, coming up against the Lord. But let me finish this out. It says, verse 4, and I will bring it forth, says the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. You see, so this man is about to get consumed, with the intense laser beam heat that comes off of them. And then, of course, we know the ICBM missiles, right? Which is going to utterly destroy America and pretty much take Esau out of his power, right? But yeah, that's pretty much the point. This talk of aliens is pretty much just them getting to the point where they're about to reveal a lot more things. They already have a lot of exposure with the Epstein list. You had the UFO confirmation a couple years back. Now they're talking about how aliens are real. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, these are signs showing you that we're getting to the end. To where the people are going to start waking up to the fact that what we're saying is true, right? What the prophets, starting from our apostles and elders on down over here in Great Millstone, we've been telling y'all the truth, right? Everything that's written in the scriptures is coming to pass. Everything that's written in the scriptures is faithful and true, right? So, well, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. I praise, bless, most edifying, but I'm gonna go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom, Kwam Yasha Allah.